classic Victoria sponge. So it's quite detailed, so we'll hop into the kitchen and I'll show you how to do it. So first thing to make the sponge cake, I've preheated the oven to 180°C, which is 350F. And next thing I'm going to do is prepare my tin. So it's really important to line your pans, because then you know that the cake's going to come out really easily. It's not going to stick, and if you don't, it seems like a bit of a hassle, but it's worth it, because then it's kind of a little cake insurance policy. So just got 2 sheets of paper for my 2 little sponge pans, and just going to this. My mum used to do this, like with the knife, with the scissors, just kind of trace around, or you could use a pencil if you want. And I've just got two layers there, so I'm going to cut out my 2 circles. Actually, for a while I was greasing my pans with oil, and I actually found that butter is better because it's more solid, so it actually sticks and kind of does its job of stopping your cake from sticking to the pan. So just really generous on the sides there, so just a bit of butter and all the way around, and then just in the corners as well, because that's where the cake's most likely to stick. And then just a little bit on the bottom so that the paper sits in. We'll pop our paper in, and it doesn't have to be super exact. It's not going to be a problem. And then you of course want to grease the paper. I've got my butter in a bowl weighed out, and because my butter, I didn't get it out of the fridge, it's still a little bit on the firm side. I've chopped it into really kind of small pieces to make it a bit easier for my mixer. And I'm just going to weigh in caster sugar. So we want it's 300 grams. You've got the butter, and it's starting to cream. And if your butter's a bit on the cold side, it's going to make your mixer work hard. So I hope my poor mixer doesn't cark it. But you can see what we're trying to do here is just get more air whipped into the mixture, and you're also getting the sugar to kind of dissolve in the tiny amount of water that's in the butter. Stop it to add the eggs, because I only got this high speed. So and we want to add them one at a time. So in we go, and just give it a good mix in between. So I've got my cream butter and sugar with the eggs in. Now I'm just going to add the flour. And one of the things I love about this recipe is that it's really simple things to remember. So it's the same amount of butter, sugar, and flour. And I'm using self-raising flour, so we want 300 grams. But you could use baking powder and plain flour. So then we're just going to I'll get this scale out of the way. And I'm just going, Laura says to just gently fold with a spoon and mix thoroughly. So here we go. So the idea here is you want to get the flour evenly distributed throughout the mixture, but you don't want to kind of beat it too hard and whip out any of the kind of all that lovely air that you've incorporated into the butter and sugar at the beginning. It's looking great. So I can't see any bits of flour left in, which is great. So now we'll do Laura's spoon test. So we'll see if it passes. So we need to pull the mixture up with a spoon, and it should take a few seconds to drop from the spoon back into and so that's doing it. So Laura says if it doesn't, yeah, I think ours is looking pretty good. She says if it doesn't fall back in, to add a little bit of milk, or you could use some cream. But I think ours is looking pretty good. And I think this is really ingenious that her grandmother's got that test. So because if it was too runny, you'd add more flour. So we're happy with that. So I'm just going to pop the mixture into my prepared cake tins, divided into my 2 cake tins. Just going to use my spoon to kind of even it out a little bit, but you don't want to push too much of the air out, and it's going to naturally in the oven, it'll flow and even out. So that's fine like that. So we'll just pop them in the oven. Okay, so cakes have been in for an hour, half an hour. Yeah. So when I put a skewer in, they come out clean. So I'm just going to turn the oven off and pull them out and put them on just leave them to cool in the pan. So what you do is just a little bread and butter knife, and you want to work your way around the tin. I kind of saw around first go, and depending on how well you've greased, it'll either be stuck or it won't. My band-aid's very skanky there. So yeah, just keep going around a couple of times until you can kind of feel you've got everything, because it does tend to stick in the corners, particularly if your paper hasn't gone all the way to the edges. So just kind of keep working it around, because if you don't loosen it here, it's going to cause the cake to tear. I'm going to carefully turn it upside down and usually give it a little shake, and there we go, out it comes. And sometimes, you know, bits fall off, but that's just the luck of the draw. So we're just going to pull the paper off and give the jam a little bit of a stir, and then be generous and kind of scoop. I'm using raspberry, but you've got homemade jam, that's even better. It's up to you really, and it's up to you how generous you are with the jam. I have a bit of a sweet tooth. I quite like my jam, and I think it, you know, makes it look pretty if you're more generous with the jam as well, because there is quite a bit of cake in here. So we'll just evenly spread it out, and you know, if the jam drizzles out like that, all the better. I think, bit of ooze. And then we've just got our pretty top, and it's just going to sit on like that, and hopefully it'll stay, and it also hopefully won't be crooked. There we go.